My third upload for today is just a little short upload with regards to mental health within society and the role of mental health professionals within society. As I've mentioned in my uploads prior to being married and giving birth in 2015, I enjoyed a very positive and productive lifestyle within recovery and a positive and prosperous profession as an educator and graduate of the University of Limerick. Since being married and since giving birth, there were two occasions on which there were unlawful detainments. I was not a patient of mental health services, and I was not suffering from mental health issues. So basically, the circumstances of this matter with regard to mental health is highlighting the issue of mental health services being abused basically to accommodate injustice and the obstruction of a woman or any individual within society in having their constitutional rights respected. These issues that I'm relating on these uploads basically contends with the abuse of power and people power and vendettas of individuals that are culprits and that are offenders of the constitution of the democracy and that are offenders of women's rights and children's rights also. So basically the abuse of mental health services to accommodate wrongdoers and adulterers and individuals that are unable to confront their offences and the solution to their offences, and violating a person's right to freedom and violating a person's constitutional rights are all very serious matters to contend with. I'm a fully functioning, healthy individual mentally. Physically, I have been damaged due to medical incompetence. There have been people that have taken the liberty to discuss my private matters without my consent. These people have delved into my private life and have caused very horrendous issues for me. These people and their mentality is a huge concern for me. There have been such intrusions that I am baffled by, and there has been involvement of individuals that think that they are in a position to speak on behalf or to speak for the person that they are targeting. The interests of such individuals that are being facilitated is a very huge concern. Those that are responsible for very serious offences against women's rights, children's rights, and human rights, that intend or plan or think of perpetrating further offences and wrongdoings against a lone citizen, a law abiding citizen, is just a very, very sad sign of the times with such abuses occurring. So, this issue about mental health services as a tactic of avoidance in obstructing a woman from attaining her legal rights and constitutional rights and human rights is a poor reflection of those that have been inconsiderate and inhumane and unprofessional in a vendetta that has been exacerbated with continuously disgraceful and embarrassing wrongdoings. So, vendettas of hate crime are quite unjustifiable. Those making false claims and abusing services in a society and that have not rectified their former wrongdoings, that have obstructed protection of a woman in society, doesn't say much for the progress of women's rights and human rights and children's rights. So basically, I've mentioned about the obstructions of justice and illegalities that have happened or that have occurred, and also the issue of mental health that has been a very serious issue when people think that in collectively violating a person, that they just simply aren't able to confront due to their own issues, because of their wrongdoings and because of what their owings and compensation due to the person that they've damaged and offended, um, their issues of not being able to confront these matters is highly concerning. That's why we have politicians in a society. We have politicians to represent the best interests and constitutional interests and rights of each law abiding citizen. So, those people that have intruded and involved themselves within private citizens' livelihood, that have caused very serious wrongdoings, and that have misdiagnosed, that have unlawfully detained, that have prescribed harmful treatments and such to a target of hate crime and marital desertion, is a very sad sign of the times for 2020. So, those women, men, individuals that are responsible for these wrongdoings and that have obstructed a protection order for a woman that has been violated legally, morally, spiritually, etc., that has been basically trespassed upon. This is a huge issue that isn't so easily swept under the carpet when there has been such serious spiritual violence also that I have experienced, as well as the very serious legal obstructions also. So, what are the authorities and the politicians and the civil liberty agencies doing to help and safeguard women such as myself in society, living peacefully, considerately, and respectfully of others, and that have experienced these victimization tactics and violation tactics? There are people that we all need to be safeguarded from, those endangering the mental, physical, emotional well being or the legal well being of an adult that is living privately and that is experiencing what I'm experiencing. What are the politicians doing to safeguard women such as myself? So, with regards to the mental health issues of such individuals that think that they are within the remit to trespass into another person's livelihood and cause this amount of loss, grief, and damage, and not think of the consequences or the consideration for outcomes regarding future occurrences of such a vendettas. I'm wondering how the politicians treat these issues, and I'm wondering how mental health professionals treat the perpetrators of hate crime and human rights violations. Hate crime is a mental illness also, or is a byproduct of mental illness, and irrational hate crime is inexcusable. So, with regard to mental health services and mental health professionals, and with regards to authorities that are cognizant of the wrongdoings that a law abiding citizen, a teacher, and a humanitarian is being subjected to, um, how is this being perceived nationally and internationally and locally? So, collectively orchestrated vendettas of lies and falsehoods are all very dangerous for victims of hate crime. And as regards mental health, I'd appreciate if the mental health professionals would confront the individuals orchestrating malicious vendettas against a law abiding, deserted female humanitarian and educator.